Yeah, I've talked multiple times in this stream, so like not to beat a dead horse for anybody watching the VOD, but like I'm not quitting streaming because like I'm not popular and I'm insecure about it. I'm not like quitting streaming because like I'm fed up with the process or the industry. I'm quitting streaming ironically because I care about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to become something that I hate because it's like standing in the way of me really pushing forward with writing.
Greetings, mortals! Brimthen Barlow here, and in the background here we have a good buddy of mine across the internet. It's Just Bread. Now, this is a special Brimthen's Babbles podcast, a podcast where we bring just about anybody on and let them talk about themselves and what they do and all that kind of stuff. But this one is special because it's Just Bread's last stream. Now, It's Just Bread is a particularly special person for mine because when I started the KFX SMP, he was there for me at the start. He and I sat down for some long hours to build the first dungeon that we did in the KFX SMP storyline. And he was there helping out with writing different books, coming up with different lore, and creating a pretty awesome character and some really awesome ideas that he brought to the table. And, you know, he was here for me at the start of some of my projects, and I wanted to be here at the end for him and give him a warm welcome and a nice little kind of salute off. So welcome to the podcast. I'm glad to have you on here. Give us a little bit about what's going on with you ending your streaming stuff here.
Thank you. I don't really feel like I did that much work, so I'm a little embarrassed that like you feel that way. Especially considering where I think KFix is going and can go. I think it's just up and up from here, especially with this next event coming up this weekend, so everybody listening should check it out. Yeah, that was spearheaded a lot by Focal, basically. Oh, look,
He's put in
so
a ton
much
of work.
Focal. Yeah. Yeah, so I recently graduated from college. And I started my first internship, and like most people, like an internship, oh, it's like super easy, all this stuff. I commute an hour to my job, which is nothing that like the other intern does. He commutes like 2 hours every day, I think, or an hour and 40 minutes. And like traffic around there is bad, so it's like an hour commute. I roll up, just do like hard work that like I'm a little bit bad at from the 9 to 4. And then after that, I come home and I'm like, all right, time to do my creation, like my creative stuff. But like, I'm tired and I just like, it gets hard to do when you're working long hours and stuff. And I really care about it. I really care about the content that I create. So I've been sort of faced with this decision the past couple weeks on whether or not I continue pursuing a career in writing, because I'm actually starting to write manuscripts and full-on novels, and I want to submit some to some competitions and stuff, and just balancing that with content creation, having enough free time to myself that like I stay mentally healthy, and then on top of that doing work. It got to be a lot to juggle. And I decided that content creation was important enough to me that I wasn't going to half-ass it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I completely understand that. You know, I have struggled with that exact topic that you're talking about, because I was working with the railroad, and there were some days you would work 16 hours, come home for 8 hours, go back in for 16 more hours, and just repeat that over and over and over. And I was trying to build a channel through that, and I really never could get to where I was comfortable with it. And I totally understand it. It is, because streaming is a lot of work, and then managing life stuff is a lot of work as well. And it is entirely okay to go off and set this aside, you know, and work on life stuff. Life comes first.
Yeah. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't realize when like they watch their most popular streamers and everything. It's like a lot of work goes into, I guess depending on the brand, but like if you think about like like let's say Ludwig's rise to fame or Michael Reeves, like just two popular people that I can think of off the top of my head, though Michael's more on YouTube than Twitch. Like they're streaming a lot, or not Michael, but like Ludwig streams a lot, right? So you'd think that he really wouldn't have time to be like generating new ideas or anything, and he's just sort of like, he just sits down at the computer, hits go live and like hits go live and like does stuff and gets paid for it. That's not really how it works. People think a lot of thought goes into making good content, and that's sort of like what you do and like what I wanted to do. Like I came up with all of these different series that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do backseat gaming, and I wanted to do an It's Just Radio, and I just had like all these ideas that I was like really wanted to put work into. And then when I looked at the time that I had, it just like wasn't there for them to be what I wanted. And I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but I don't like doing things halfway. The product's going to be finished or not at all for me.
And I'll explain it on the recording when I hit record here. Give me just 2 seconds.
Yeah, sure thing.
All right, so we are back. We had a technical difficulty. My power flickered, caused everything to shut off, and I had to panic, screaming and cussing constantly to figure out what happened, and if there was a storm, and if I like needed to figure something out. And got everything back on. Hopefully everything's hunky-dory. Because I do MP4 recordings, so that whole first half is just corrupt and gone. So the first half of this video is not going to be as high a quality as it usually is, because I'm going to have to take the 720p VOD from Twitch and edit it in at the start. So at least I saved what we done up to here.
Yeah. If you want the little bit of time out of when you were gone, just let me know. I chatted a little bit with Focal.
No, it's fine. I'm making this as a purely Brimthen's Babbles podcast, so it'll look like all the other ones on my end, so nothing really will change. So about streams being difficult to set up and don't I know? The funny statement that you were making there, it is possible to automate it to enough to where you just push one button and everything goes, and it is my life's goal to get to that point. The problem with getting there is it's expensive. It's like, you need a stream deck, you need like all the art and all like the transitioning stuff that goes towards it, and even then it's a lot of pre-setup.
I think you cut out halfway like through that sentence. I was more talking about like the creation of good content. Like the creative stuff that goes into it. And what I was like trying to get at is like, I have all these ideas for stuff I wanted to do that I thought was like creative and could really go places, like the backseat gaming. And
I caught that part.
Okay, so you got that.
Yeah.
But no, you know far better than I like the difficulties of setting things up. I mean, you run workshops helping a lot of streamers in our community set things up, which has been real nice, and I'm super appreciative for all of the guidance in fixing my mic and making my stream quality just a bit better. Yeah, it's always good to like start the pay it forward, because if you help somebody, then maybe they'll help somebody else, and like we'll all grow together.
Yep. And at the end of the day, that's the actual goal. And you know, I've said it in a few of the other streams that I've had and podcasts, and you know, there's a lot of streamers that think networking is just I go do a collaboration with you and pull, you know, followers from you. Networking is about equality and building each other up and really building a relationship, not just like trying to get a couple extra clicks or views or whatever. And the easiest way to kind of network is to, you know, help people get to their goals that you've already reached. So, you know, I tried to help as many people as I could get to affiliate, because it was hard for me to get to affiliate, and I want to see people get there and learn those tools that I had to learn.
Yeah. Hitting affiliate is hard. I did it in 2 months, thanks only to all of your help. Because, like, I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't really shout myself out on other servers very often. It's just, it's like not in me. I don't dislike when other people do it. In fact, like, I think it's really good. But for some reason, it's just not in me to, like, go to somebody else's server and be like, hey, come watch me. Even if, like, we're doing similar stuff and we have similar viewers anyway, it's just, it's not in me. But, like, I think it's really cool helping each other out like that. And you'll run into people in this industry that are, like, they do just try and collab to steal viewers or, like, do other stuff. And I think that's just part of the industry at this point. It might change, it might not. I'm definitely talking at, like, a higher level from what you hear, like, people talking about, and then, like, what we encounter. But, like, I don't know. I think this place has its ups and downs, and that helping each other out is really important, and I really respect what you do.
Yeah. And it's strange too, because, like, you have people that want to help, but they don't have enough of a platform to reach people to help. And you know, you can find it quickly, like, watching TikTok. Like, you'll find some smaller streamers that are genuinely wanting to, like, teach people a subject or teach people something, whether it be like D&D, something like that. But they still have to grow to get up to there, because the hardest part is reaching out to people and, like, getting people to come in. Because, like, for example, you came to my community through, you know, my TikTok. I think it was probably about the KFX stuff.
No, actually, McBro invited me.
McBro invited you. And that's another thing. Friend of friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pull people into. But a lot of people, you know, have came to my community through TikTok. And what I'm getting at is, if they just watched the TikTok and flipped away, like, there was no way to ever meet them and work on it.
They just keep scrolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, but no, I'm really glad that you joined the community. You don't feel like you did a lot on it, is what you said a minute ago. But the impact that you had meant a lot to me, because I was scrambling there at the first, like, few weeks. I was, like, under the pressure. Like, I had a timeline, I had a date, and I had a huge project that I had to work on, and I needed, like, anybody that could help. And you ended up excelling at that, because, you know, you have your background in writing. I remember you telling me you was a dungeon master or played Dungeons and Dragons for a while, so you had the storytelling side down, the pacing of, like, the dungeon already kind of figured out, and it was a lot of help. Both motivational help and, like, actual help of building.
Well, yeah, and you were still working too. So, like, as a student, I had like objectively more time than you did to, like, go into that dungeon. And I think we ended up getting help from Exterminator 2 or somebody. Somebody else ended up helping us out towards the end, and that was really nice, because, like, God, digging out that mountain, even in creative, it was just like, it was like such a blank palette that, like, I didn't know what to do with it for some parts.
And there wasn't a lot of room, because the mountain was only, like, so big, so we couldn't we couldn't branch outward so much. Like, we had to go down and, like, you know, flare out. And but no, it was hilariously funny and great fun to do, and I really do appreciate what you've done on it. And then the book that you wrote me, that was a lot of fun to read on stream and everything. using the old English.
I took a class in Old English, and so I just had to bust it out, like, Shakespearean English, not OLDE English. God, Old English is absolutely disgusting. I hate Beowulf. Yeah. By the way, I'm not an English major. I don't know how I ended up taking so many English classes. I study computer science. I work at like a small tech company right now. And still somehow I had to read Beowulf in college.
I think everybody had to watch or read Beowulf at some point. Because that was like in high school for me. Beowulf.
Yeah, no, we didn't read it in high school. I did the only like distinct actually that's a lie. I've really loved my English classes. I have a lot of distinct memories, but like the only real distinct like Shakespearean and like plays and basically like the older English stuff I remember is watching the Leonardo DiCaprio version of Romeo and Juliet, where like they have the guns that have sword written on them.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
What a strange movie too.
Yeah, it really is. Absolutely whack.
Well, so I know you're quitting streaming. You said indefinitely on my side. Is that like
taking an indefinite hiatus is how I would phrase it. Like, I had somebody ask me earlier in this final stream if I'd come back for the Pokemon games. It's like, maybe if I can find a way to stream them, but like I also might want to just enjoy them at my own pace. I think the biggest scenario in which I come back, and I said like lol to this to somebody in my Discord server, it's like if I can make money as an author and I don't have to have a 9-to-5 tech job, I will come back to streaming.
That's very interesting.
Vocal redeeming another hydrate.
You need to chug it down, man. Like just get it and go. There you go. Yeah. Man, like that chugging water is one of my sticks, and I will always stick to it. I love the, I've got the hydrate, the basic point hydrate, and then I've got the hydrate water chug, and then I got the boot, and I love doing the boot.
The boot.
The boot. Oh man.
In one of the first streams of yours that I watched, you had like a double boot back to back, and you were like, "No,
I haven't had a double boot. I've only had the boot redeemed twice because it's so many points. But I had a double chug, like the normal little pint glass chug.
Yeah,
and that's fun. I just like chugging. Period.
I can't do it, man.
Yeah, my record for a pint is like 4.5 or 5 seconds, somewhere right there, and then like my average is like 6 seconds. And then for a 32 ounce to 48 ounce, I'm like I think 16 seconds, somewhere right there. And then the boot, which is somewhere like 9 cans, or whatever it is like, I think it's around 45, 50 seconds.
Wow.
I'm able to chug the boot in a TikTok video, and that's what matters.
That is what matters.
Oh, Sir Baldus is saving for the boot, and he's only 3K away.
Oh, no.
So, the last person to do it was Nance, and he had been holding on to it for a little while, and he did it for his podcast. And he was wanting to a couple times when he was like over here, and I was like, let's keep it to the topic that we got right now. We don't need to do a boot just yet, because I figured there'd be a better time with me and him, and he ended up choosing for the podcast, and that was a perfect time. But I love chugging water. Of course, the water's a segue for something else, but I'll never mention that. I'm a family-friendly person on Twitch.
Oh, wish I could have gotten there. There was, I swear, like a sailor. I am calmly thinking about all of my words because sometimes they just slip out.
Well, I do it because I don't want the kid that really likes my content to, his parent walks in and just hears me like cussing up a storm and all that,
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's more of like, I know what it was like back then when I was a kid, and I don't want it to happen to other people.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I'll try to keep everything PG. Now the games I play doesn't have to be PG. I'll play Doom and like whatever else.
Yeah.
Speaking on your side, I've loved your Phantasmophobia stuff. I've lurked in several of them. I've not always talked in all of them, but
that's fine. That's the thing that I kind of like about my streams, as lonely like as it sounds like I get sometimes, because like talking into the void is fine sometimes, but sometimes like you'll get on I've said sometimes so many times now, there's some days that you get on a stream and you're like really looking forward to talking to people, and chat's like, I just want to vibe. And so part of like me getting over some stuff streaming was like, you know what? That's cool. If somebody wants to just come sit in my chat and listen to me like shit my pants over a game and like not say anything, that's cool. If somebody wants to come tell me that like I'm doing this wrong, that's fine too. Like whatever makes the people happy. And like that was just one of my biggest things that I think has changed about my personality over like the very few months that I've been streaming, because it's like it's a really impactful industry on your personality, I think.
And it is, and there's a lot of anxiety that goes into it behind the scenes, because like worrying about like how your stuff looks, how you sound, worrying about like we all try to avoid doing it. However, all of us fall into that kind of pit trap of looking at what someone else is doing and seeing their success and like judging ourselves based on other people's stuff. And I always say, just do what you do for fun. Like if you're not having fun, don't mess with it at the end of the day. And it's a lot of work streaming, and life comes in the way. And something I was going to say before the power outage, just recently, you've wanted to start all these projects and that kind of thing, and I've started a whole bunch of projects, and I'm trying to tie up some loose ends to try to get other ones progressing more, mostly because of the family emergencies that I had. You're aware of those situations. And trying to get back on track from that like slowed me down, kind of slowed the roll. And I'm a momentum person, and once I get slowed down, it's hard for me to get started back up type deal. So it's been a couple of months, and I've had to, redo all of my art, handle some family business, and but I'm coming back strong. And I totally understand taking a hiatus to work on yourself, work on your future, work on the things that matter, and then come back to this later. Like don't let it discourage you. There's nothing to apologize about. Everybody in your community and my community, we all understand. Sometimes you gotta go, sometimes you gotta take a break.
Yeah, and I've talked multiple times in this stream, so like not to beat a dead horse for anybody watching the VOD, but like I'm not quitting streaming because like I'm not popular and I'm insecure about it. I'm not like quitting streaming because like I'm fed up with the process or the industry. I'm quitting streaming ironically because I care about it.
Yeah. And
I don't want it to become something that I hate, because it's like standing in the way of me really pushing forward with writing.
Yep.
And like I'm happy with that decision. I've mentioned to a couple people, like I feel like I've let some people down, everybody who's like subbed and donated. I feel bad, honestly. But I know at the end of the day I have to make this decision for me, and if it makes shoot, what was the working title? Shoot, I can't even remember the working title of the novel I'm writing right now. I'm just so frazzled about it. If it makes the manuscript that I'm working on to submit for competitions even just like a little bit better, and I like, then that's just what I gotta do. That's life.
Yep, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you want it to be to the standard that you would prefer it to be, and that is entirely okay. It coincides with what I say about art. The majority of the art that a streamer puts out there is usually less for the viewer and more for themselves, because it's confidence. If you feel like you look good, you feel like your art is good, you feel like you sound good, you project that through your confidence and through your productivity with that. And, you know, when you sit down in front of the camera, if your mind is elsewhere and you're focusing on something else and you're not putting that 100% in, it degrades, and then you feel bad. And what matters is how you feel about the content that you're putting out. If you feel it's good content.
Yeah.
The numbers don't matter. Nothing else matters. What matters is how you feel about it at the end of the day. And I totally understand wanting to take a step back to make sure that you can put your full focus into it later, so that you're not, you know, doing kind of halfway. You want to go that full distance with it. I fully agree with that, and I you know, I absolutely respect that. I think
that means a lot.
I think that's a very honestly mature answer on it. Because there's some people out there, they'll just, you know, throw it both ways, and they'll halfway do both topics, and then you've got halfway, you got your foot in on two sides of the aisle. And
then when neither product delivers, like, they'll end up feeling bad. And it's just like, it's not like that. Humans aren't built to do 100 things at once.
Exactly.
You have to really choose what you care about, in my opinion. And sometimes it's not that you don't care about something, sometimes it's just the other thing. It's that you care about one thing more. And that's what you got to run with, and devoting your passion to that one thing I don't think there's anything bad about that.
Exactly. And I agree with what Dumpling just said. You know, you need to do what makes you the most happy, and it's better to be happy and not burn out.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's big.
Yeah.
Oh, Xanaphar says he's looking forward to reading the novel. That's only if I get published, buddy. We are steps away from there. We are miles away from getting published.
We're gonna get you published, Brad. It is now my stream's mission to get you published. We are full on dedicating ourselves to the daily bread. We are going to at 10,000 followers. We are going to push your book.
I'll get back to you when there's something I've written that I think is really worth publishing. How about that? So I don't know.
Today's podcast was brought to you by ItsJustBreadds' new novel, Raid Shadow Legend. No,
Raid Shadow Legends, a new mobile MOBA. Based around, I don't even remember the pitch.
Dumplings got me cracking up. Hashtag publish daily bread.
Wait, guys, that sounds like I'm trying to start a newspaper. That's not what I want. I already have a newspaper.
Oh man.
No, so
that would be cool if your book or novel or anything that you end up writing next is like you could do it based on newspaper themed something. You know, it could be like a newspaper carrier or like story about a newspaper. But I was just the hashtag publish Daily Bread and the idea of the Daily Bread being a book just made me think of like a cover that looked like newspaper headlines and stuff. And like the cover of the book is just a whole bunch of newspaper headlines.
That could be interesting. There's a lot of different ways I can think of taking that. But we'll see.
Who knows? We might have just sparked the idea for something that's just going to grow into, some beautiful idea.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then you could go even deeper and make it a mystery novel. And there, like on the back of the cover, like there's a place where the newspaper's been like stepped on. And it's been like in a puddle and it's wet, and there's like a little stain of blood in the corner that like is big deal in the middle of the book and opens up all the answers to the rest of the story or something. Now I'm going too far.
Focal just asked me if I will still be in the SMP or are you taking a break from that as well? That's a good question. As a mod on the KFix SMP, I don't do much. So I've been thinking about taking a step back from that. After this event, I probably will take a bit of a step back from the SMP. I will still play, but I just don't know if it's good to have how do I word this? Have somebody who isn't giving their all to the community in such a high position.
Yeah, and I respect that.
And I'll still like consult, because I love building story arcs. You guys all know about or like at least most of you. Sorry to those of you watching Brimthen Babbles who have no idea who the hell I am. No, I really like character arcs. I like the story that we've sort of started generating. I like where this next event is going. I think it's time for the content creators to create the content.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That sums it up.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. You're welcome on there anytime. You're welcome to come back into anything. Like you're always welcome at the KFX SMP. You always.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I should probably like finish that house before I quit though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Several people have asked questions about it.
Listen, I don't have a silk touch pick to like remove the glass and redo it. So that's one big part, and I don't have enough dirt because all there is that fake dirt around where I live, like the weird looking dirt that doesn't like grow grass. So like I've got to collect dirt and build a mountain. Like I'm trying, man. It's that eats up so much time that I'm on the SMP. Just like it's come a long way from the last time you saw it though. Like can you give me that? Like it's at least a little bit better than when it was like a gaping hole with dirt and there was no stone. Like God.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. If you want to raise it to the ground, that's fine.
No. When it was first being erected, I thought it was like I thought it was a Warhammer tribute because it looks like the symbol for the Ark of Sotek, which is this lizardman tribe, and they have like this orange and yellow like lizard symbol type thing. So from a distance, I was like, was one of the like Warhammer people got on the server and like started just like making symbols or something?
Oops.
But nah. I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
If you tear it down, I'll be like a little sad, but
it's not gonna get torn down.
I'll respect the decision, you know.
I'm curious at what it becomes more than anything else.
Well, so like it's supposed to be like a giant sun-shaped window into a mountainside, but there was no mountain near me, so I had to make it myself. Or yeah, no, that's it. That's the story. That's the bit.
That's the entire bit. Fair enough.
Like,
Fair enough. So you can't remember the working title. Do you have a premise of what the book's going to be?
So there's two things I'm working on right now. A sort of fun adventure fantasy piece called The Type A Hero and His Delinquent Companion. Or Degenerate Companion, that's the word.
Degenerate.
So it's about these two guys who have grown up in like this small village or whatever, and this one guy is destined to be a hero, and he's like real type A, gung-ho, gonna solve all the world's problems and doing this. And his friend is just a degenerate. He's lazy, he's like tired, sort of languid, but that's just sort of like his outer appearance, I guess. Realistically, he's always like watching his friend's back and like making sure he doesn't cause too much problems or too many problems, and making sure he doesn't like get tricked by somebody. And like he's always like they'll go to a town, just like as an example. I don't know if this will happen in the book or not, and like somebody will be like, oh, we need help with this pack of bandits or whatever, and the guy will be like, I'm gonna head out right now, and he'll like grab him by the cloak or whatever and be like, no, more info now. It's not that easy. Who are you? And then the other book that this one I'm really thinking of submitting. It's a romance piece about the may or may not be a ghost story. And I sort of I leave it up to the imagination. It's about the premise is the main character heads out to, or like is called to work at his aunt or cousin. I haven't really decided how the ages work out. He's called to work at her shop in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And because like I don't know, maybe it's between college, maybe he's an adult that just has free time or something. I really haven't settled on that. All super early stage stuff because I just haven't had the time. And so when he's on the shift all alone, he eventually meets this girl, and over time, like they start talking or whatever, and it's sort of hinted at throughout the book that maybe she's not around, like that maybe she's a ghost. And it's sort of, I don't like want to like spoil or even shoehorn myself into stuff, but like basically it ends with her ambiguously passing on, and the book, the novel's going to be told from the perspective that of like the aunt or the sisters, his sister's granddaughter hearing the story from like a son or whatever, and then but then it's just like, is that why we always stay with grandpa at this time of the grandpa at this time of the year, or he always goes like back there at this time of the year or something. Like it basically this guy falls in love with a ghost and doesn't like really move on, but like that's not a bad thing. Like it's a work in progress. I really haven't decided where I want to take it thematically. I kind of have the premise and 3 different ways I sort of want the theme to develop, with the theme being like fleeting relationships. And like, what do those mean? Because like in life you meet a lot of people, and you sort of can end up floating in and out of other people's lives, but are those sort of short one-off connections, like someone you only knew for a summer, are they any less valuable, and can you cherish them? It's the novel's really going to be asking those sorts of questions, hence why I picked an ambiguous ghost, because you don't know whether or not she was really dead, or if maybe like the romance is just gone, and she's not around anymore physically.
Fading memories, so to speak.
Yeah.
I like that premise. That's a really cool idea, honestly. I'm genuinely excited to see where you go with that. I like this idea of like touching on, is those, summertime relationships, actually important? And do you care if I elaborate on my feelings on that topic?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So I like that idea because one of the things that I've always felt like is it doesn't matter how long of a time I spend with somebody. Everybody that I've pretty much met in my life is important to me. And this is both online, offline, whatever, because even the small encounters adds up to your personality and creates the encapsulation that is you and your personality. Everybody leaves a little bit of themselves with everybody. And streamers just kind of surf on that wave like there. Goes across the sea of people, touching everybody. And it is in my opinion, everybody that you meet and have a moment with, so to speak, has a value in your life. Some are going to be more than others. I'm not saying that all of them are equal, because obviously some people are going to put impressions larger on you than others. But everybody's going to leave some sort of impression.
Yeah.
Even if it's just picking up a mannerism, I have so many different vocal things, that just picked up from other people, sayings, the way you laugh even changes based on hearing other people's laughs.
Oh my god, I had 2 friends that we left alone for, I don't know, a week. Everybody else in our friend group was super busy that week or whatever, on vacation or something. We came back and they laughed the same, and everybody in the friend group was shook. Everybody was just like, no, this isn't right. You guys need to stop that right now. It was just so jarring because so much changed in a week.
Mm-hmm. And things can change rapidly.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that is really what I wanted to touch on with that particular premise, is the idea that brevity is not such a powerful thing that it lacks impact in a relationship. Something can be brief and powerful, and something can be extended and sort of mellow, and neither of those has any greater inherent value over the other.
And
something can need to be brief and meaningless, and that's fine too.
Things can be brief and meaningless. That's definitely sure. I would put it up to a firework. There can be so much meaning in a firework. If I go outside and I prepare this big old picnic for somebody else, and I light off fireworks at the end of the night, and we do some big celebration with champagne and everything, it's a moment that will stick with us forever. And same thing, things can be a bit meaningless as well. If I just go out there and I light a firework and I go back inside before it explodes and nobody sees it, same thing. But like you said, some things can be long and lasting. If I go out and make a marble sculpture and it can last well past my lifetime, we still have statues from Egyptian days, So the meaning isn't really tied to the time. The meaning is the impression it makes on you when it did happen.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think it's a beautiful thing at the end of the day. So I'm excited about this, the ghost book for sure. I think that one's more interesting to me, at the very least. I definitely want to hear about your progress over time. Try to stay in touch,
Oh, so like, yeah, that's a big thing that like I've been talking about. Like, I'm not going to just disappear. I'll still be around. I'll still be in chats. Like, I just won't be putting the time that I would spend creating content and like preparing for streams, coming up with ideas, generating like that sort of content is just going to be devoted to other stuff, and I won't be hitting the go live button anymore. Doesn't mean like I won't show up in servers or lurk in chats or like disappear off the face of the earth. Just refocusing.
I don't want you to go. We just got Exterminator back. You know, Exterminator left us for a little while. He went off to the military, and now he's back, and he's starting to make a resurgence, so to speak. I'm excited to see him back on the server and what he ends up bringing back to the table.
That'll be fun. I'm sure he's excited.
Yeah. Just parting is such sweet sorrow.
Well, it's kind of like what I say at the end of all my videos. It's like I very purposefully don't say the two words that Focal has banned. I always say "catch you later," because it's not goodbye until it is.
Yeah.
Ah, shit! Damn it!
No! And now you're over here cussing on my stream. No!
Oh, shoot.
It's
Sorry.
okay. The rules just no excessive cussing. You know, at the end of the day, like, it's not a big deal if one or two slip up.
Dang. Dag nabbit.
It's okay.
Mother trucker.
Dude, I speaking on cuss words for just a moment, because that's a great segue. I was watching this TikTok, and they were giving alternatives to cuss words, and they put it as states. Instead of saying, like, dang it or whatever, the alternative to dang it, you just say, oh, Delaware. Oh, man.
Ah, Delaware.
And just pick a random state and just say its name.
Well, Delaware's not real. Not a real state.
No one lives in Wyoming.
Yeah, okay, but that one's actually true.
Dude, okay, so I gotta give the Wyoming story real fast here. So, when I was in college, which feels a lot longer now than it should, I had a, oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the term. Shoot. I'm gonna say humanities professor. It wasn't a humanities professor. It was one of them. Anthropology. There it is. And
had a lot of good anthropology. Or I took a really fun anthropology class.
And I was big on psychology. I was originally trying to go for my master's in psychology and everything, and which just didn't pan out. But I ended up getting to be real good friends with this guy. He was an older gentleman, had a cane, had a really bad limp that he had from an injury from a long time ago, and we would just sit around and just like talk all about the human mind and different stuff. I got like certified in the Ekman Foundation's micro-expression stuff when it was first coming up. And we would sit around and talk all the time. And he would talk about Wyoming and this beautiful Bullhorn Mountain in Buffalo, Wyoming. And it intrigued me enough because I like hiking from time to time. I don't do it very often because I'm a large gentleman. But I do like the outdoors and whatnot. And you know, one day I was at Kroger's and I was just slicing deli meat back and forth, packaging it up. And, you know, I ended up quitting my job and running off to Buffalo, Wyoming to go hike the Bullhorn Mountain. And I ended up going with him because he was taking a trip out there to paint his house. And so I helped him paint his house, hiked up in the Bullhorn Mountain for a while, met this professional hiker who basically like retired and went off with his retirement money, like sold his house, sold his car, sold everything, hikes up to Bullhorn Mountain, hikes back down to the Save-A-Lot to restock on food, and then hikes back up. And like he's living off of what money he had left and like living out his days on the mountain.
Wow.
And why this is a good segue for this topic. Genuinely, no one lives in Wyoming. I went out there and I mean, of course, there's people, but like, there's like maybe 400. Like, the internet has to be lying about their numbers. It is the least populated state. And remember, there's states like Alaska. Like, why are people living in Alaska? It's too cold. But then, we have Wyoming here. And when I was out there, let me tell you about the Bullhorn Mountain. It is this huge mountain. And if you're standing at the base of it, you turn around and you look up this big, big mountain. You turn around again, you look out into the plains, and you can see like 500 miles because there's a slight like slope and like you get more of the horizon, so to speak. And you can literally see to the other city that's out there. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, if I turn this way, I've got this giant impassable mountain. If I turn this way, I can literally see the other city. Like, holy crap. So it was a trip. It also is home to the world's most beautiful dump because they had this like plateau and the dump was on the top of the plateau. So you could look out over all the plains and the mountains and everything. And like, it was just this big old trash dump.
Weird flex, but okay.
I know, right? But yeah, there's nobody in Wyoming. I've been there. I know that for a fact. Hello to everybody from Wyoming that may end up seeing this. Don't know how you got internet out there, but sure.
Wow, you're rubbing salt in the wound.
Nah, they just say they're from Wyoming. They're actually like in Nebraska or something.
There are cases like that, right? Like, not like Wyoming specific, but like you'll meet people who say, "Oh, I'm from DC," and like really they live in like Northern Virginia or some shit.
Yeah, and the funny ones, because I've ran into a few people that do that, is the ones that don't match the accent.
Oh, like saying, "Oh shit,
yeah.
What's a good one?"
Because well, here in Tennessee, we have a few people that say they're from like New York or something, and maybe they are, but your accent doesn't change like in a year. Like, it takes a long time for an accent to really pull out of your system, and even then, like, it takes a lot of work. And like looking up like actors and actresses that talk about like vocal training and stuff, you gotta be trained to lose your accent. It's not easy to get rid of. And they're like, yeah, I'm from New York City and whatnot, and they got like the most southern drawl on the planet.
Really?
I'm just like, no, you're not. There's no way.
I used to actually switch accents based on who I was with in my family. Like, I used to when I'd go and visit my like grandparents out in like the middle of nowhere, basically. Middle of nowhere, south. I would have a country accent for the summer. Just because it was how everybody talked, and I was like, well, I want to sound like everybody else, so I'd manufacture an accent to have with them, and would like just do everything I could to sound like them. It was super like weird looking back on it, but it was just like one of those things you do as a kid, like you want to fit in, so you do everything you can.
And when you're younger and as a kid, your vocal cords are completely different from when you're an adult.
Yeah,
like they can do that. They fluctuate all the time based on where you're at and what you're doing, because they're like learning still how to talk. Even I think like vocal cords don't fully mature like until 16, 17. Don't quote me on that.
No idea.
Because like I was learning about the brain, and like a lot of people don't know this. Your brain's like not even fully connected.
Fully developed till you're like 26, 27 is. Yeah, I minored in I would have minored in psychology if I'd taken like one more class, but I couldn't be bothered.
It blew my mind to find out that they're not even connected until you're like 10, 11, 12, and that's when you're like first social like experiences start up, because your brain is finally connecting left and right together, and that's when like your social cliques start to form at 11, 12, 13, so to speak. And then it's like
all downhill from there.
All downhill from there. So I found that funny, and I actually told that to one of my nieces. Like, she was like 8 or 9. I was like, your brain is just not even completely formed yet. You can't make decisions right now.
Don't talk to me, half brain.
But anyway, but nah, I'm excited about the book. I'm excited to see what you end up doing in the future.
Thanks.
It has been fun with what you have been doing. I've enjoyed your content.
Thanks.
I really do hope for the best. Like, I wasn't just like idly throwing that in your chat earlier. Like, I genuinely hope you have a good future.
Thank you. I hope for the same. I hope the same for you as well. Like, really, everybody in our community. I hope everything works out for what people want to do. You're all good people, and you all deserve it.
Yeah. Find what makes you happy, man, and push forward with that. Like, try to seek happiness. Stay hydrated. Stay wholesome.
Oh man, how am I gonna stay hydrated without Twitch chat telling me to drink water every 30 seconds? What's gonna happen?
without Twitch chat, I am dehydrated and dying.
I'm guessing you're winding down, so thanks so much for having me on.
No, not yet. We gotta ask the big question.
Not yet. Oh, we got a big question.
We got the big question. My community always wants me to ask this question. I don't know if you've checked out any of my podcasts before and heard this question.
I have. I've seen like bits and pieces of them. I've never been able to sit down and like finish one. I think the most I watched is like I watched the first like 75% of Red Calls, and then like my group for a project was like, hey man, we need you to like push this code. I'm like, I did that last night, and they're like, no you didn't. So I had to go rewrite some stuff for them and make sure it worked.
So the big question that I have to ask, because my community wants me to ask it every podcast regardless of who I'm talking to, and I have to ask it, do you watch anime?
Yes. I'm a big weeb. Massive weeb. Huge weeb.
You gotta give me your top 3, man. You gotta give it.
Nah. No shot. But not even that. Like, it's just ranking them.
That's the first time I've had somebody answer like that.
What do you mean?
Usually some people are like, I just got this. They throw out like their tops. You're like, nah, no, I gotta hold up on that one.
No, so I guess my favorite anime I've watched, like of all time, that one I think I can say pretty confidently is Hyoka. Oh shoot, but there's also Baccano. Okay, so like I've got like two really strong, like my favorites of all time are Hyoka that was produced by KyoAni, rest in peace. Like still reeling over that. And then Baccano, which is a really, really cool show based on not based on anything. That's like a sort of vignette style. Oh god, I can't say anything without spoiling anything. So it takes place in like Prohibition era United States, and it's like Baccano. It's a little supernatural. It's like, well, it's more than a little supernatural, but like it's really cool. There's gangsters. There's like, can't say any more than that.
Is there something
cool.
to do with
it's cool.
like fighter plane?
No, but there is a train.
Is the full title Baku no
nope.
Baku Ugo?
Nope, Baccano. It's an Italian world. It might be Bacciano. I don't speak Italian, but I'm pretty sure that's not how the double C is said. I think it just comes out as a normal C. So it's Baccano.
Found it
I
with an
don't think
exclamation
there's two.
point.
Yep. It's really,
Got
really
it.
good. I like it a lot. Hyoka is it's a school slice of life mystery that's just like a lot of fun, super deep. And like the animation is gorgeous, and there's so much attention to detail in it that it's just like fantastic. Other than that,
I've put them on my list because I've never heard of them, because it looks like the genre I don't usually go towards. So I will give it a try, because I like to give everything at least the 3-episode try, you know.
Yeah. No pressure or anything. I really don't have like a specific niche for anime that I watch. Like, I'll watch anything or read anything. Like, I read shoujo manga if I'm feeling it. Like, I will read absolutely anything. I love reading manga. I love oh yeah, like I did a manga recommendation on the first and only episode of It's Just Radio. But yeah, I like reading manga. I guess I'd have to say it's not my favorite, but the first like long-running manga that I read was I read Naruto all the way through. And I guess other than that, I've read so many like multi-hundred chapter manga that it's like ridiculous. Please don't judge me, chat. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm not seeing you people again. Or like stream-wise. So you can't judge me here. Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, I read that all the way through like one summer in... Was that? Yeah, I think that was still high school. Yeah, that was definitely still high school.
And they're just going to judge you in my comment sections on YouTube.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, wait, wow. That's... Wow. Forgot about that. Oof. No, so I read a lot of stuff. I really like reading. I read novels, I read comics, I read manga, I watch anime, like big weeb nerd. I like media.
Yeah, I'm definitely into the flashier stuff when it comes to anime. I like the, warriors and like the struggle of fighting against stuff, I don't know genres and stuff, but I've watched far too much anime to where I should probably know what I'm talking about. I just don't worry about that stuff. I just watch it if it looks cool. I'll usually see like a clip of something and be like, hey, I'm gonna go watch that. That looks interesting. Which has failed me a few times, because, sometimes some animes just have one good moment.
Yeah, that happens a lot with action anime, in my opinion. I still watch them and I still enjoy them, but like sometimes you can just hit a point where it's like, this is like the same story.
Yeah, basically. But I always have to push it. I say it in every podcast. I'm going to say it here too. The best anime movie that's ever been made is Redline, and
yes,
it is amazing. Have you gotten a chance to look at it?
No, I haven't. It is in my watch list on Amazon.
You've got it, man. I think it's free right now on like Amazon Prime or whatever.
Yeah.
I spent $9 on it like 3-4 years ago, and I've probably watched it. And this is not an exaggeration. This is not me just trying to like inflate it and make it sound crazy. I've watched it easily 40 times. Like, certainly.
Nice.
Because what I would do, and, I paint Warhammer figures and stuff, I would turn the movie on just to listen to the music and listen to the characters and the pacing while painting. And I would like set a unit down. I would start building it. I would turn on Redline and I would just sit there and listen to it and like paint and build. So I've easily watched it 40 something times.
Nice.
But I suggest Redline to everybody. It's, hand drawn, like 300,000 frames or something like that. And then they digitally enhanced it. It was
Mhm.
it's honestly a love letter to anime, period. And it encapsulates everything that I like from anime.
Yeah.
But the show that I like the most, which I hope someday might have a second season, and that's the whole reason why I created Brimthen Babbles podcast, was to get the executives to work on making my anime come back. And that's Roka. Roka is amazing. It does nothing new, and I'll agree with TMA on it because he has some words to say about the anime, but it does nothing new to the genre. It just does everything that it was supposed to do, you know? It's
Yeah,
like
I've
Gordon
seen it.
Ramsay making a sandwich. Like, sandwiches aren't anything special, but like Gordon Ramsay making it makes it special. And these people made an absolute special anime. It's
Crazy.
So I suggest Roka to anybody, and I suggest Redline, and I say it every podcast because it's basically all I got. I mean, other than that, it's talking about Death Note and like One Piece and like the myriad of like, because the biggest thing I do is pick like really short episode animes with like 10, 15, 20 episodes at most and go through it, because it's been my lifelong journey to watch every episode of One Piece. So if I'm not watching One Piece, I have to watch something short so I can get back to watching.
Oh well, Hyoka and Bakuno should fall within that short.
Yeah, I saw one was like 22 episodes. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
I like to give everything a try.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good philosophy to take. No, God, I can't. There's too many anime that I've seen, like, that I would love to mention at some point, but that's not my brand.
And you know, one could always just go down the list and just start. I watched this one. I watched that one. I'm definitely in that category, honestly. I don't usually watch slice of life. I've seen a couple. I don't know. I just never could really get into them too easily.
Yeah, no, that's fair. In response to that, I will confess my greatest sin.
Oh,
I have never seen Attack on Titan.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. It's a really big thing to some people.
It's so I got onto Attack on Titan literally a week before it came to the States. I pirated it because it wasn't available in the States at the time, and I didn't know it was coming to the States. So I found it and I watched it. And at the time of watching it, it was what I would call pretty much the best anime I had watched for the time. But that's so far long ago. That was before I got into other animes and like got into other stuff. And the second, third seasons just aren't really the same kind of hype as the first season. I do suggest it for people. I'm not saying it's a bad anime. I'm not saying that, because everybody has their own preferences. And everybody is rightfully so. You know, some people like Dragon Ball Z, but you know, it is what it is.
That felt like you just slid that one in there.
That was a jab at Dumpling. But yeah, so it is a great anime. I've just it's kind of sullied over time, and it's a little bit to do with the community. Communities can ruin a subject for me, because like I really like Doctor Who, but then their community like really exploded and like became something completely different. And usually I don't let the community kind of bother my feelings about a topic, but it can, because it can erode on you.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I was a goth back in the day in high school, and I would go to like Hot Topic every now and then. That was before Hot Topic became like what it is now. Back when it was actually like a grunge and metal store. And then it became like anime gamer weird stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I like Attack on Titan. I just don't think I would ever watch it again type deal. But I recommend it.
Interesting. At this point, I might... sorry if you saw me look away. I was just getting checked on as my family's heading to bed. At this point, I think I might as well just commit to the bit and, like, never watch it. Just, like... Save it for a Never Have I Ever with a whole ton of weebs.
Yeah.
Just pull out that one and be like... That's almost as strong as saying I've never seen Sword Art Online, which would be a bold-faced lie, because I have. But, like, imagine if somebody had that card in their arsenal.
Dude, Log Horizon's way better.
I know, right?
Yes.
I love Log Horizon.
The classic pick people to be in your team of whatever. And
sure way. Just has to go somewhere.
I always pick Nyan Tough for the chef.
That's fair.
That or Sanji. I usually
Sanji. Yeah,
Sanji's my favorite character in One Piece.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ooh, you went out on me there for a second with the Discord.
Sorry about that. But yeah, I watch anime.
Well, we'll wrap it up here. I appreciate you for being on here, and like I said at the beginning of this,
thanks for having me.
You were there for me at the start of one of my projects, and I wanted to be there for your finale, so to speak, for the time being at least.
Yeah.
It has been a great ride with you. I'm excited to see what you do with your writing and your novels. I really do hope for the best for you. And if you have anything you want to say to everybody, I always give the guest a moment to like pitch something. And, feel free, pitch your book, if you want to, or say, where you're wanting to go with that. Or, like say, I don't know the process behind it, but like, at some point you will publish it potentially. What would be the best way of keeping in touch and finding information about it?
That's a good question.
You can always say Brimthen's Discord.
No, so if you want to know when I'll be back, you can, which would be silly, because there's no guarantees in life. You can always follow, you can always join my Discord or follow me on Twitter. Both of those you can find on my account below. But I think I want to use this time, instead of promoting myself, to tell you, the viewers, breathe, just like for a second, and be mindful and be present. It's something I forget to do a lot, and so I think this little reminder is probably really good, because since studying Kendo in college, like, I've become a lot more mindful of my surroundings and like being present in the moment. It's important. So just like close your eyes, try and hear something in your surroundings that like you haven't heard before or like really identified. Just latch onto it for a couple seconds and breathe. And I hope you guys have a good day and a good life. That's all.
Very well. Thank you for joining us here. And if anybody would like to join Brimthen's Babbles here in the future, feel free to check us out on our Discord. I have a little request place. Anybody's welcome to make a request, and we'll have you onto the show after scheduling. Give a big final farewell to ItsJustBreadds stream. You have a great one, man.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
Later.
See ya.